Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide podcast featuring the one and only Paris Dawson.
How y'all doing?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. It's a little rainy day out here in
Good.
California,
You
but
know,
hey, I'm blessed to be alive.
California though.
No, it rains. No. It rain. It rains. It rains out here. I mean, not as much as it did in Seattle when I was there, but it definitely rains out here. It has its times.
It, man, well, whoever said it never rains in California, we gonna take that to the charge because it does rain. So, but let's get it started. So, Paris, can you tell us how you got to where you are in your sports journey?
Yeah. So my sports journey started when I was young. Growing up in a household kind of full of sports, full of athletes. My brother played football, but I kind of took the path of my sister. She played basketball. She played at the collegiate level. She played at Sacramento State, and then was a GA at University of Illinois for 2 years. Um, but it started off with her. Uh, I remember just being like little. She's 5 years older than me, so me being a little kid, like I was always kind of looked up to her and kind of wanted to follow in her footsteps with like what she did. Um, so basketball started, I would say, because of her for sure. Um, and then love of the game kind of just grew from about the time I started playing AU basketball to even now.
And you went to Seattle University. So with Seattle University, what was, the competition like? And also, what would you say are some of the misconceptions in the competition, the division that they're in?
So when I went to Seattle University, it's a mid-major school, so a lot of people kind of brush that to the side, which in some cases I'm like, okay, but we hang with kind of anybody. Um, so yeah, I went there for 3 years. I transferred from Portland State originally, so going from the Big Sky to the WAC conference is where I played my last 3 years. Um, it was a adjustment for sure. Travel was hectic in that conference because we were the only team from Washington, and then everybody else was kind of scattered all over, um, kind of the West. And then we had majority of our teams in the conference in Texas, so we went to Texas a lot. Um, but what I would say, just playing in that conference and doing those things. It was a learning experience in itself because a lot of high major players would come down to that conference and play, and it was like you were gonna get people's best shots like almost every night. And we had a really good team my years that we were there. We had great individual players and just great coaching staff and everything. So um, yeah, just playing against top competition. Some guys that we played against. Are in the NBA or G League. Some guys I play with are in the NBA and G League now, or just have successful careers overseas somewhere, um, in Europe or wherever, Asia, wherever they could possibly land. But at the end of the day, going in that conference and playing, we tend to get a lot of high majors that wanted to play against us, which was a good thing in itself. Like my last year, we played against Duke, um, which had 3 lottery picks on the team. Like, and that's something that not a lot of people get to do and experience. Everyone, of course, has the goals and aspirations of going to a school like that, but to actually like be there and play against them is it's a real feeling. Um, so yeah, that's the one thing I would say. Like, kind of going there and seeing everything for itself, like it was a blessing.
Oh, so you guys played against Duke when they had like Cooper Flag and Knipple and
Yeah.
oh. See,
Yeah, we played against that team. Yeah.
it's like you. It's like it's interesting because it's like, you know, you because North Carolina, you down here, you have the ACC, UNC, and Duke. Everybody loves
Mm,
that. But then it's like when you're playing against them, like as you are a basketball player playing against like these high majors, it's like this is just another team. Like I'm not trying to fangirl, fanboy over like none of this. Like it's
yeah.
cool that they're playing against us, but at the same time, like I just want to win. Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's about.
so my question for you is, you know, with how it's structured for like mid majors, because I come from a mid major as well, you know, and especially in tournament wise, they always like to choose like that one automatic bid, and then you have like the Power Five ones that they always choose the multiple ones, and then when you see like some of the mid majors that have say they may lost the tournament, but they don't get to go in, even though they have a better record than some of the say the Power Five ones. Do you hope
Mm.
to see more opportunities for mid majors to continue to, you know, showcase their talent in different tournaments, you know, be able to have that same opportunity in the NCAA tournament, even though they're in like CBI, the CBI or the CI team and everything.
Mm. I would definitely say yes. Excuse me. So my junior year we won the CBI actually at Seattle U. We lost to GCU, who only I think lost 3 games the entire year. So they end up going to the NCAA tournament and actually made like some pretty, some big noise for mid major programs. Um, but I do believe conferences like the WCC and the Mountain West are big when it comes to the mid major kind of teams, just because people don't look at those mid majors as mid majors; they at them as high majors, even though they are as mid major schools. They are mid major schools, and like they're not in a Power Five conference by any means, but it's just like the recognition of players, the recognition of talent in the conference. They know that the conferences are tough. Um, So conferences like that usually tend to get the extra teams to go in, the other bids besides just the tournament stamp for the bid. But yeah, it's. I wish it was like that for a lot of conferences because I felt like my junior year we could have went to the NCAA tournament with the team we had. Um, uh, but it's just I don't know, whatever the committee kind of has with some things and like kind of like the record to show, it's like you have to win certain games to be able to do it if you are a mid major. But if you're a high major and you just have like a crazy run, like you could get in the tournament just because of that. But like for us, I'm like, we're over 500 and it's like we had a 20 plus win season. Like, why can't we make the tournament over someone who has 18 wins and 15 losses on their schedule? But um, I think it's a thing for those for the high major conferences with the impact of money that they have as well and the fan bases that they do have, it's going to make the NCAA money at the end of the day. Mid majors most likely won't make you as much money unless it's like a Cinderella. Then everybody starts talking about those teams. But that's what I think. What comes from the high major, mid major kind of debate with getting into the tournament for automatic bids or extra bids and whatnot.
That's an interesting point because you said WCC. I was like, well, I know like maybe a couple WCC, so like St. Mary's and Gonzaga usually
Mm-hmm.
always, even though it's like considered the mid major, but like
Yeah.
I was like, well, but you were saying about the CBI. Talk about that moment when you know the team you know, you got a chance, went to the CBI, won the whole thing. What was that experience like winning the whole thing at the CBI?
um, it was crazy because I remember after we lost to GCU in the semifinals of our conference tournament, The next day, we kind of started talking about it as a team amongst ourselves. Like, okay, like, do we want to play in this? We either had the CBI, um, it's another tournament. I forgot what it's called. It might be the CTI or CIT, the CIT. Um, so it was out of those two tournaments that we were going to go, to. So we ended up choosing the CBI. Um, and kind of our mindset for it was because it was our spring break as well. We were like, we're not gonna come out here and waste our spring break to lose our first game out here. Like, if we're gonna come out here and we're gonna play the right way. We're gonna win. Like, that's what we're coming to do. End of the day, that was our kind of our mindset of the entire thing that year, and it worked. It worked. We were kind of short a couple players from injuries during the season, and yeah, we went in there and we ended up playing against some really good teams. We ended up playing High Point in the championship game, which High Point had a really really good team. They had won the regular season for their conference, but ended up losing the championship of their conference tournament. So they were another team, was a mid major that couldn't make the NCAA tournament due to them losing in their conference tournament. But yeah, we knew that we had some tough teams that we were going to play against, but we knew we had a really good team. We had guys like Alex Schumacher, who was on the Phoenix Suns, Cameron Tyson, who played on the Portland Trailblazers, um, and then yeah, we had like a couple other guys on our team who ended up. One of our guys, one of our bigs, Grant Chatfield, he ended up transferring to Iowa State after that year we won the CBI, and then he's playing in Germany now in Pro A basketball. But yeah, we had a team that was connected and um, to say the least. Like, we knew what our goal was coming out there. Um, but being in Daytona, being in Florida during that time, like, it was fun. We got to experience a lot of stuff while we were out there, and then like just having like we knew this was gonna be our last time for that entire team to be together. So being together that one last time, like, we had to make it special. So it was a good way to go out to end the season.
Hey, came out, said, I don't want to have this spring break be ruined and we lose, but we're going to go out with a win. So we
Yeah,
did that. So
definitely.
that would be crazy to go like, you know, but that's interesting. Y'all played against High Point, and High Point is literally like couple hour. No, it's actually an hour and a half from where I stay. That is
Yeah.
interesting. Right. That is. So my question for you is: you mentioned, you started playing,
Mm,
ball because of your sister.
mm.
Um, so which leads to my question. What inspired you to advocate for women's sports?
I would say for me, being around the game so much that I know a lot of people are around the game and they're usually like, oh, men's basketball, men's basketball, men's basketball. I was like, I grew up girls basketball. That's women's basketball. That's exactly what I used to watch until I probably got a certain age. Besides the NBA, I got to a certain age and I started watching men's college basketball. But before that, it was all women's. I used to love watching UConn with my sister, Stanford. Um, uh, Especially those two teams. Those two teams were always the powerhouses during the time when I was young, especially UConn with when they had Maya Moore. Um, yeah, all the way up to shoot Breonna Stewart, all the way like even past that, like even today, like I still like am locked in on games, especially now because women's college basketball is just insane. The amount of talent that's all over. Um, but yeah, like watching my sister play, she ended up winning two state championships her junior and senior year. She went to Long Beach Poly, um, which was a really really good high school program for girls basketball. They won Division 1 her junior year and ended up winning the Open Division her senior year. I think they ended up being the top 10 team in the country that year. Um, but they've had like multiple McDonald All Americans on their team. Um, and kind of like being around the girls at a young age and like seeing like them work, and also like just being around them, like I got to see like we do almost the exact same stuff. Like it's no different for um I would say anything as far as like men's basketball. Besides that, we're kind of just athletically it's a different game, but as far as skill and all the other stuff, like no, it's basically the exact same thing. Um, but yeah, that's what I would say. It all started because of just me growing up, watching my sister playing against her. She used to kick my butt all the time. Uh, until I got taller than her, about the same height taller than her. Then it became another story. I got a little athletic. So I would say probably around the age I was like 11, and she was like 16. That's when I was like, okay, I could beat you now. Like, but it was still like a little back and forth. But usually I would come out on top. Um, but yeah, that's really how everything kind of started, um, and why I'm like kind of so high on it, just because of all the people I've been around with the game, on the women's side, and just kind of seeing, like I know women's players that are in the WNBA right now, overseas playing. I know people who have been to the national championship game for. So I'm like, I know so much about it. It's like it's nothing. When people are surprised I know so much about women's basketball once we actually like talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, like my sister plays, so I kind of have to know, and I kind of just got stuck with it from that point on. But yeah,
Man, I was like, this is the first time I've heard like something like that where say usually whenever I've had like, it's always like sometimes if it's a woman, it's usually, oh, I grew up with brothers, so like I wanted to play like them. I've never heard like say the guy grew up around sisters and they see their sister. I was like, oh, this is so new. But just the fact that you mentioned the goat Maya Moore, I was like, yes, thank you. I'm
yeah,
here for it. And you mentioned another person, Brianna Stewart. Like, come on now. Like,
yeah,
I feel like sometimes people forget if you're talking about probably some of the greatest college basketball runs and championship wise. I mean, she won 4 championships in a row, and she was 4 most outstanding player award all 4 years. Like,
yep,
that's unheard of.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then you got like then you got Audie Crooks from Iowa State, who's
mhm,
like now just getting multiple 40 plus points. Like that's just
yeah,
so now I see what you mean. Like I see what you mean. I was like I because it's just interesting how much like how you see more viewerships happening in women's basketball these days than say like if you think about like for the past maybe a couple of years, a lot of the championship games, like it's interesting how like if you think about it, how each of them would be say sometimes it would be Sunday where the women's championship be at, and then Monday would be the men's championship. Because
mhm,
it was interesting because a long time ago it used to be the other way around where on Sundays it would be the men's championship because everybody wanted to watch, but then Mondays would be the women's where oh it's just on. So I was like,
yeah,
Dang, look how time went by fast.
hmm, yes, it has, it's totally flipped.
So my question for you is during your college years, NIL has come in place. For
Mhm.
you, from your experience, how impactful has the NIL been for you?
Um, I would say it was definitely impactful. I'm not gonna sit here and say I made a ton of money off of NIL by any means, but I did get my name out there for sure to be able to build platforms and relationships to get money from other ways besides just from the school and like getting paid just to go to the school that I was going to. Um, Even though I did get paid, uh, kind of like after the season, we had talks about it and stuff, and um, kind of yeah just came to agreement on what was felt like was right, and that's what I ended up getting. But overall, it was it's even crazier now. I wish I had another year. I was like, but yeah, I'm like, man, it's so crazy. Like everybody's making a ton of money off of this stuff, and I was like, dang, like now I kind of see why like people were like, dang, man, you guys are making this, you guys are doing that. Like I wish we had that. And I was like, yeah, because when I was growing up watching college sports, it was a lot of players that could have made a ton of money playing. Like I remember Johnny Manziel when he was big, when he was at Texas
The
A. Oh my gosh, he would have been, and he was making money, but it just wasn't. He wasn't supposed to be making money. But I'm like, this dude would have made tens of millions of dollars, probably shoot close to $100 million in his career at Texas A&M. He would have because he was all over the place. He was partying with Drake, partying with LeBron James. Like that's unheard of for a college athlete like that at that level. But yeah, like even you see it now with like AJ DeBansta and him making shoot over $10 million basically as his time at BYU right now, and we all know he's a one and done. But it just goes down the line from like all players and kind of like I said, the big schools. If you have some type of talent, they're gonna just try to throw a bag at you just so you can just come to their school and just even if they're like, look, you're gonna sit the bench. We gonna give you this bag though, and then like you'll practice with us, you'll still be with the team, and we're gonna pay you, and that's all you're gonna do. And it's like dang, like it's crazy how much money is just thrown around now, especially. But yeah, I would say NIL definitely helped, especially like helping with different people get their foot through the door with a lot of situations in their life. Um, by no means was I did I grow up like in a bad neighborhood or anything. I grew up in a city called Carson, though. It was right outside of Compton, Long Beach, so right in the LA area. That's where I grew up at. But kind of everybody knew who everybody was in town, small town. Um, and we would go and we would play in the other cities what people consider the ghetto. Like we go play in Crenshaw, we go play in Inglewood, and just seeing a lot of those players that I would play with when I was younger, um, that kind of lived in those circumstances, like see how NIL helped them out,
Mhm.
and um, just like them kind of putting all they had into sports and kind of like, hey, I'm gonna get it out the mud, and like we're gonna see like it's just gonna work or it's not, and just kind of them putting their heads down and just grind. Um, I've seen how it's helped them change their lives, and then eventually a lot of them end up going to the next level with that type of money. Well, not even their money, just from their performances. Um, so yeah, it was. I would say NIL was definitely big for the whole youth. I feel like just people need to know how to use it the right way too.
That
That's
part.
the one thing I think people get. A lot of kids see the money and they think it's gonna last them forever, and it's not gonna last you forever. Like you need to make smart investments. You need to do things the right way in order for you to maintain that money, but not only maintain that money, for that money to work for you and for it to grow. I feel like that's not taught enough for the NIL age, especially people kind of just let the kids do what they have to do once they give them the money, but they need to tell them like, hey, this could like actually give you generational wealth right here. Like you don't even need to really touch this money right now. Like you're gonna be fine with the money you have from school and like whatever. Or if you want to take a little bit out, by all means, take a little bit out. But like the rest of it should whatever you have to do for it to stocks, whatever high yield savings, like anything like that, like go and do that. But um, yeah, but for the most part, I mean, it helps. It definitely helps.
Dang, you mentioned Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel, and I was like, this man used to do the whole money thing all the
Yep.
time, and he literally, and it was crazy because he literally out like openly admitted it, like, yeah, I was. People were, you know, people were buying my autograph. I was selling it, and I was
Yeah.
buying it. They were asking for my autograph, and I sold it, and
Hmm.
like that is interesting. Yeah, he would have made millions, millions. He
Yeah.
like and there would have been some. It's interesting. He would have made some millions. I know. Say Kentucky men's basketball, like say John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins would have made
That that's when I started watching college basketball, and John Wall is the reason why when I got to high school, I started wearing number 11. Is
really.
because of John Wall. John Wall is the reason why I wear number 11. John Wall is my all-time favorite college basketball player.
That is it, and he's from North Carolina. So I
Yep.
mean,
I absolutely love John Wall. Absolutely
did,
love him.
did you always used to see him hit like some type of Dougie or whatever? He would like
Yes.
like they
Yep.
had a whole the fact that they had somebody created a whole song about him talking about do the
Yeah.
John
Dude,
Wall.
John Wall. Yeah.
I was like, I ain't never heard somebody have a whole song about them while in college at the time. Like,
Yeah.
and he would, man, and it was, did you ever hear the story where he almost went to UNC though before he went to Utah?
Yes. Yes.
So
That would have been crazy if he went to UNC.
it would have, but it's like, you know what? I'm gonna just go to Kentucky. And it was interesting because they had a great squad. John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, and
Eric Bledsoe. Uh, Dang, I forgot. They had Patrick. I forgot his last name.
I know who you're talking about too. That's
Yes.
the, I'm not trying to show my age, y'all, but I
I'm like
know exactly.
they had guys on their team. They had guys. That's
Years later, those years, and then years later, Kentucky had the Harrison twins. I don't know if
yes.
anybody. The
Yes.
they
Oh,
had a
trust
whole.
me. I was tapped in. Kentucky was my favorite team. I watched especially that 2014, 2015 season when they were undefeated until the Final Four. I
Of,
watched every game. Every game. I cried after the Wisconsin game. They lost that game. I cried. I cried.
you cried on that. You didn't cry when they lost to UConn.
The year before in the
Yes,
championship. You know
yes.
what? I was. I don't think I cried for that game, but I was happy because like they weren't supposed to get all the way to a national championship with that team. Like they were supposed to get knocked out by Wichita State. They be undefeated team.
They
So
did. You know
yeah,
what? You're right. They did because that's the thing. See, because here's the thing that a lot of people forget how they got to it. Aaron Harrison had shot the same exact spot shot
three
every
times,
time,
3 times hit big threes to win
and
those games.
it's like he hit it against Wisconsin, he hit it against Wichita State, and then somebody else, and then when they played against UConn, where they had Shabazz Napier,
Hmm.
um, Ryan Boatwright, and
Yep.
some other people. And
Hmm.
then Kentucky, they had Julius Randle at the time and James
Yep.
Young, and
Yep.
I was like,
And the Harrison twins. Willie Cauley-Stein was hurt. They had Kari Johnson, Marcus Lee, Alex Poitras. Yeah,
yes,
that was. I love that team. I love that team.
they would have made millions off of that too.
Oh my gosh, especially that run they had. See, that's the good thing about the thing that happened with the NCAA, the lawsuit. Like a lot of those players get to make money off of like those things that happen, which I think is amazing because a lot of those players really actually do deserve that money because they made a lot of money for their schools, for the NCAA period during tournament time, especially. So
Especially, do you remember the Villanova UNC game?
yes,
Do you remember
Chris
the?
Jenkins buzzer beater.
Do you? That man would have made so much money and
Yes,
millions because of that shot.
yes, and that was his senior year, right? That was his last
Junior,
year or junior year.
sophomore, junior year. It was
Okay.
one of those years. Because
Yeah.
it was interesting because he was playing against his own. He was playing
His
against his brother.
adopted brother or some or yeah on UNC, and then that UNC won the next year. and got a
Now
championship, and his brother got a championship.
it's
So they
like,
both got it.
man,
Yeah.
it's man, it's interesting, but like, but hey, that payout is gonna be paying out for a lot of people. So,
Yes.
but
Definitely. Definitely.
so my question for you is, as a man and an athlete, how important is mental health to you?
Mental health is the most important thing for any athlete because without you being right mentally, you will not be right physically. That will break you down. Physically, emotionally, that will break you down. You need to have the right mental headspace. I say that because I went through a lot of stuff during my time when I got to college from, and I talk about this with Cass a lot. So, from my first year, me coming in out of high school, I'll talk about this too a little bit. So, for me coming out of high school, um, I went to Corona Centennial. So, my senior year, I played with Jared McCain when he was a freshman. I played with the point guard at UCLA right now, Donovan Dent, when he was a sophomore. So I had a lot of young guys on my team, and I kind of had to be like that leader for them at that point in stage. Um, Especially coming from a team that, shoot, the year before we lost the next year, going to my senior year, we had lost 5 players who, and we only played 6 guys, so I was the only one that stayed. We had 2 that graduated, and we had 3 that transferred. 3 that transferred. One went to UCLA. He's now in the NBA, plays on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The other one, he plays overseas right now, but he went to UCI, then Butler, then Washington for his final year. And then one of the other players, he ended up going, he's at Cal Poly right now. So for all the guys that played on that team, to me, having a bunch of young guys that's like, dang, they don't know what they're doing. Like they don't know what to expect right now. Um, I had to be right in order for them to be right.
Mm.
That's I feel like where it started off at, and I could see that. And I think it helped out me a lot, and it helped out them a lot, especially. Um, but moving on from that, from my senior year and stuff, me going into college was a crazy transition. One because I was leaving California and I was going to Oregon. So this is
Mm.
my first time away from home, living by myself. That was one. Second part was it was COVID. So I
Oh
could
yeah.
not go back home for that entire time I was there. I could not go back home. So I spent 6 or 7 months in Oregon by myself with just my teammates and coaches. Nobody came to see me. I didn't see anybody till my last game my freshman year. And it was because they allowed fans to come to Boise, Idaho, to watch us in our conference tournament. So my parents came up, my aunt came up, and my girlfriend at the time came up to see me play. And I was like, it's so different because I was really like, you had to stay in a room, you had to stay locked up, kind of, and it was like you did schoolwork, you stayed in your room. Whenever you could get in the gym, you would go and get in the gym, but you didn't have 24/7 access to a gym because protocol in the state of Washington, I mean, in the state of Oregon and whatnot. So, and us being a public school, we're not allowed to do a lot of stuff that private schools are able to do. So, um, yeah, like everything was kind of like, this is my introduction to college basketball, and everyone's like, this is nothing what it's like. This is like the worst thing that could actually like possibly happen. I'm like, okay, but I kind of was still in the right headspace, I would say, and I was like kind of just putting my head down. I was just grinding. I was grinding. I was working out whenever I could, whether that was in my room. I got some dumbbells and I was working out in my room during like our downtime and stuff. I would call coaches. I'd be like, "Look, if we get in the gym, like let's go to the gym." I'll even just go by myself, and they would like sometimes we like sneak in the gym just to go work out. Um, like late at night, we'll be like, hold on, like I'll meet you at the gym and we could just go and work out. So then that way we don't have to worry about admin or anybody like worrying about what we're doing. We're like, all right, cool. So we go in the gym, we work out, and season ended, and my head coach left, and he went to Texas Tech. I decided to stay at Portland State and for one more year, um, and I went from runner up for freshman of the year in the Big Sky. Um, funny, the guy who ended up getting it is in NBA, so who ended up getting freshman of the year. But to my next year, I was barely playing. So I went from third leading scorer on the team as a freshman, kind of had the green light to kind of do whatever, to the next year where I didn't feel necessarily valued in like what I was doing. So that's one thing that I kind of try. I try to preach this to kids now because I am a basketball coach now at my alma mater. Um, I try to tell them basketball has its ups and downs. You cannot get too low. You cannot get too high with this sport. The one thing you can control is how hard you play, how hard you work. You can't control what the coaches are going to do. That's the one thing you cannot control what goes on in their mind. They feel like that's the right situation. They're going to do what they feel like is best for the team. So I tell them also with basketball, you cannot just worry about that. You need to. It's more to life than basketball. At the end of the day, I didn't understand that at my time during my time. So I try to preach that to them. The game is eventually going to stop. One day it's going to stop, and you have to figure out how you're going to deal with life from that point on. You can't just bank on basketball and expect it to be here all the time. Because I'm like, one, you're not going to be a player. So if you're not going to be a player, you can be a coach. You can, I don't know, you can do a lot of stuff with the game. You could be an agent. You can be, shoot, you could be a athletic trainer. You can be a trainer for basketball players. Like it's so much stuff. It's a vast variety of stuff that you can do in this world when it comes to the game. But playing is going to stop eventually. It's going to stop. So for me, that was an eye opener. Uh, at the end of the day, I decided to get out of the situation I was in at the school, and Seattle U was the first school to actually contact me when I entered the transfer portal. Like within 5 minutes, I got a phone call from them, and I had a relationship with the coaching staff already from high school because I actually ended up picking Portland State over them. So I kind of got some crap about that on my visit when I went back up there. But yeah, it was great. I got up there, I committed, um, and when I got there, I think that was my worst mental health time. And it didn't have anything to do with playing time. It didn't have anything to do with my working or anything like that. It had the fact to do I started getting injury after injury after injury.
Mm.
And you could go into a deep, dark void when stuff like that happens and you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to. So for me, before our season started, I broke my hand, like right before the season. After our first scrimmage, actually, I broke my hand in practice, and like a, a not even us playing against each other, like us trapping a coach on like a drill we were doing. I broke my hand.
Man.
So I broke my hand, ended up having to work back. I'm like, okay, I got to get back to like kind of doing my thing. I get back and I'm playing well. We end up playing Portland State, actually, my second game back, and I had my career high against them. So I already knew I wanted to come back for that game. Everybody kind of wanted me to come back for that game. I was like, this is perfect. I was like, the only thing I haven't been playing, I haven't been shooting really, so everything's gonna kind of be, I don't know, but beat them. Had an amazing game. went to went and played another game, and I felt like something was going on with me. I just didn't know what it was. Ended up getting back home, or not going back home, but end up getting back to Seattle. Was in a practice, and we were just doing like layup drills, and I'm like, it's something going on. Like I don't know what it is. So I'm going to the trash can, and I'm like puking. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Turns out I had COVID for like a week. So and like I was down bad. Like I had chills. I had like everything. So I had COVID. Um, got sent back home, and we're supposed to play Washington. So my coaches are trying to like, hey, like we need you for this game. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to be ready, like as best I can. I've been just been resting and doing this. Like, it's nothing else I could do. So they're like, okay, like we'll try to get you ready. I worked out at Washington, and you can tell like I'm dead. Like I just look like a zombie on the ground. I have a mask on, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But they're trying to get the sweat going, so they like, it's just sweat. Usually you sweat sickness out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Did not. It would end up being worse, way worse. So I just told them I can't play. They knew it, and then my teammates that I roomed with and stuff, they're like, yeah, no, like he looks terrible. Like he cannot play in this game. So I sat out. I had to stay in the room, and I just watched the game from my bedroom. After watching the game from my bedroom and stuff, we played the game 2 days later. So I had another day of rest, and we played Fullerton. Ended up coming back and playing in that game because I was feeling better. After that, um, we had a game at Oregon State, and this was the game that kind of had my whole season just went. It was going there and went down. I ended up being in the starting lineup because I had like an amazing game at North Dakota in a comeback win. So they put me in starting lineup, and I twisted my ankle. Started second half, but then I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. So I went back in the game, and Jordan Pope was at the school. Jordan Pope's at Texas now. He's at
Mm-hmm.
Oregon State at this time, and I'm trailing him around the screen, and their big man sets a legal screen on me. He moves his leg out and hits my quad and tears my quad. So that ended up happening with me. And I'm going to I kept trying to play, could not play. I like it hurt every time I moved. So push come to shove, they're like, all right, you're just not gonna play, you're not gonna practice. Like I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I end up playing in our next game though. I have a whole like wrap around my leg and stuff. Playing it, you could tell I'm not like moving right. I'm not moving the same, but it's like, hey, like let's just do it just to see. Then we have a trip to Hawaii for Christmas time, and we're playing in the Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii at University of Hawaii. So we're playing that, and we play Utah State our first game. And I remember I was like, I cannot play. First of all, mind you, I'm sitting in the plane for 5 hours with a torn quad, So that's not helping.
Mhm.
Then I get off the plane. We have practice. Then the next day we have like a shoot around and stuff, and then the day after that we have the actual game. But I'm like, my leg is killing me right now. Like I need treatment. I need all types of stuff for it. But I'm like, I don't think it's gonna do anything. So I play in the game, and I know I can't play. Like I know it's bad. So after the game, I'm like, I gotta have a talk with coach. Like I'm like, look, coach, I can't play. Like this mess is killing me. I cannot play. I was like, I'm trying to play. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't. So they sit me out. They're like, okay, when we get back to Seattle, we're gonna take you to the docks. You're gonna get checked out. Go to the docks, get checked out. And what ended up happening, they did kind of like the ultrasound scan where they can kind of look in. So they look into it and stuff. So they show me the tear, and you just see it's a bunch of blood, just,
Oh,
just all like in the middle of the area. It's not supposed to be anything. So it's torn and it's blood all in there. So they have to put a needle in my leg and they have to drain all the blood out.
oh,
So it's like liter after liter after liter of just blood that they're draining out. And I'm like, this is crazy. For my leg just to like flatten out because it's huge. It's just to flatten out my leg, and then they wrapped it up, and they're like, okay, like you should be able to feel better, you should be able to move a little better. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm moving a little bit better. But just like if you drain your knee, if you play on it again, it's going to come back. The fluid
right.
will come back. So what ended up happening, I ended up playing in our first conference game, and the fluid came back, but also I got hit again
God
in the
dang.
leg. Yeah. And I had padding and everything to try to cover up, but I got hit. It's just like it was inevitable. Like I was getting hit. It was like a magnet. Like something was going to happen to it all the time. So I get out the game, um, and they shut me down. After they shut me down and stuff, I go back downstairs and they see my leg is big, so they started to drain it again. My leg eventually becomes like clotted. The blood becomes clotted, so they can't drain it anymore at that point. So they're like, okay, this is what you're gonna have to do. You have to sit out. They're like, because you keep playing on it, it's not gonna get better.
Mhm.
So they're like, you just gotta sit out. So I'm like, all right, I'll sit out then. So I end up sitting out about 2.5 weeks, I would say. I end up sitting out and going through intense therapy. I had to go through massages, and in that area, it was killing me. I had to do certain stretches. I couldn't sleep with a straight leg. I had to sleep with a bent leg. So I had to wrap my leg around when I was sleeping. I had to, yeah, I was just going through a lot of stuff, and I'm like, dude, this sucks. Like, and it's like, dang, I'm by myself really still at this point. So I'm like, I really don't have anybody like here by my side that like truly understands or like could let's just be here with me to make sure like everything is fine.
Mhm.
Um, my parents tried to do their best, but it was like it's just not gonna work like that. So after all that ended up happening, I ended up coming back in the season, playing, finishing off the season. Um, Summer came, summer hit, and then stuff started happening with my left hand this time. So I broke my right hand, but my left hand I tore some I tore some ligaments in my left hand. So I was out for like a little bit from that stuff, and I was like, but I'm like, at least it's summertime. I'm not playing. I'm just practicing and working out. So I'm like, this will be fine. Um, then yeah, it's like other injuries are happening. I split my lip twice, so I had to get stitches while playing in pickups. I split my eye above my eye. Um, so just like injury after injury, I'm like, dude. So at this point, people are like, dude, man, dude, we need to like wrap you with just bubble wrap and stuff. Like you're fragile. And I'm like, this has never happened to me ever in my life until now. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, kind of everything happened like that. Then my senior year, I ended up getting a concussion. um, before scrimmages, but I still end up. I played almost every game my senior year, but a lot of stuff did happen my senior year. Outside of me.
Mhm.
Um, so concussion happened. Um, I got turf toe, so that was kind of hard.
Those
Yeah,
hurt so bad.
that it hurt so bad. I don't understand how some people could like play on that. I was playing on it, and I'm like, I can't jump. I can't do a lot of stuff that I can't push off of it. It
I
hurts so
can't
bad.
either.
Yeah, so I all that stuff happened, and then we came back down here and we played Cal Baptist um for our first game of conference play, and we ended up losing, but all everybody knew but me what was everybody knew what was going on but me at this time. And I have a lot of people that come out here and watch me because it's in Riverside, kind of close to where I live at. So kind of everybody that I kind of grew up with and stuff, they came out and they came to watch me. So I'm talking to them after the game. And I'm like, yeah, I know we lost, but let's go get something to eat. Let's like go do something together. Like everybody's here. Like shoot, I'm not here often. Like let's do something. I'm like, yeah, let's do something. But my parents are kind of like, no, we gotta go. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? So, um, my best friend, I can like see on his face, like he was crying before I got up there. So I'm like, but I'm thinking he's happy to see me. So afterwards, like they're trying to act like nothing's going on, basically. I knew something was off though, because my head coach came up and he's like, oh, like, yeah, you gonna go with your parents or like, and I'm like, yeah, if I can, like, I'm gonna just go with them. He's like, all right. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, just go with them. And so he talks to my dad like for a little bit, and while I'm talking to everybody else, and then it's like, okay. And then they're like, all right. Everybody leaves, and my best friend tells me before I leave with my parents, he's like, hey, when you get home, call me. Get home, call me. That's like, just call me. So I'm like, all right, like, okay. Like, no one ever says anything like this, so I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Long story short, what ended up happening earlier that morning, my grandfather ended up passing away.
Oh.
So they went through the entire day without telling me a single word about what was going on because they didn't want it to affect me on the court.
Mhm.
So me finding out after the game was like, damn. And I was like, man, like that is so crazy. Cause I'm like, he's been to every game that I played at that school
Mm.
until this final one that I had. So, um, yeah, he passed away. I ended up just staying out in California for a few days. Um, went back. I went back to Seattle, and I ended up playing in our next game. And I just think, like, for me in my headspace, I was still sad. I was definitely still going through stuff, but I also was in the mind space of like, I got to push through this right now. Like, they would want me to like play in these games. They would want me to like do this. They wouldn't want me to, you know, not play a game that I love. So I end up, yeah, I ended up flying back to Seattle. I played in the game, um, and I almost had a triple double. And we came back and won the game. Like it was a game that was like we shouldn't have won. We shouldn't have won this. So all that happened. So I was going back and forth from California to Seattle. I had a funeral. Um, After the funeral, I flew from the funeral to Texas to play in the game that day in Texas. I flew in that morning, and we had a game that day. So I'm like, Like I'm exhausted. I just had a funeral. I just had all this stuff going on. I'm just flying in because I'm like I'm just gonna play in this game because like why not? So I come in there, I play in the game. We end up losing, um, but we fly back home, um, and then we go to Arizona and play against GCU. Our game was on ESPNU. I remember it vividly. Um, Playing with ESPNU. A bunch of my family is from Arizona, so they came out to the game, um, as well as like some friends I have out there. So I got to see them after the game and stuff. My parents didn't come because my grandmother was sick. So they're like, no, we're not gonna come out. Like we're gonna stay with Mima and we're gonna take care of her. So I'm like, okay, like that's fine. Like I understand. I was like, I'll just see like all the other family and stuff. They're like, okay, yeah. But they're like, yeah, we'll see you though, like whenever case may be. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we play. We end up losing. Um, but I see everybody. Everything's good and stuff. I fly back home. Not fly back home. I flew back to Seattle with the team. We get there, and that week, that weekend, they gave it off. So we flew back Friday. I think we practiced Saturday. Or no, they gave it Saturday, Sunday off, and then we practiced Monday. So they gave it Saturday and Sunday off. Um, Monday we got to film. Well, let me go back. Saturday, I mean Sunday, my mom calls me. And she's like, "We just had to take your grandma to the hospital." So I'm like, "Dang, what now? Like now, what's going on?" This is literally less than a month later from my grandfather passing. So I'm like, now, like all this is going on. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, what's going on? Like I know usually like she had a diabetes, so I'm like maybe it's something to do with that or something else. But they're like, no, like she's not doing well. Like she's not doing well right now. Like she's on life support. And I was like, what? So at this point, I'm like, this is crazy. I've probably told like my roommates knew, and one of my close friends on the team knew. So after that, nobody else knew about what was going on, like on my team, until the next day when we got to practice and we were in film. And I remember my coach was like nitpicking some stuff that I did in the game, and I'm just like this. Usually, I'm like very attentive and stuff, but I'm just like this. Like yeah, like you can tell something's off with me because I'm like I'm not like that.
Like
So
almost nonchalant, basically. Like,
yeah, yeah. So I go in there and I like start shooting and stuff, and like one of my coaches trying to like play around with me, mess around with me. I call him like my big brother. Um, so yeah, he's trying to like mess around with me and stuff. Like, hey, man, da, da, da. And I'm just like, bro, like, leave me alone. I'm not trying to be like in all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm just here right now. I'm just a body, just here right now. So my coach um, calls me over. He's like, hey, Paris. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you okay? And then like for some reason, I just like broke down. I just broke down. So he took me out of the gym, and he's like what's going on? So I tell him everything that's going on. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. He's like, he's like, are you sure you want to be here like right now with the team? And I was like, I'd rather be here than be in my room. I was like, I'd rather be here than be in my room anytime. Um, so he's like, okay. He's like, all right. So I went back out there, did our stuff. Um, and it was kind of just between the coaches, me, and then like a couple other guys on the team. That was all. So nobody on the team. I didn't want the team to like think anything of like what's going on or nothing like that. I'm like, I got to deal with this. I don't want y'all to be worried about what I'm dealing
right.
with at the end of the day. Um, so I think, she ended up going into hospice. So what ended up happening, I was just like, you know what, I got to go back home. So the next day I flew back. I didn't go to. I ended up finding or hearing about it that night, I think that she went to hospice. So the next day, I was like, I'm not coming to practice. I like told him because I'm like, I just can't, I can't do it. Like I gotta go back home. So I went to the offices, talked to my coaches and stuff. They're like, look, we're gonna buy you a flight back home. When you're ready to come back, let us know. We got you. Like don't even worry about this. Like we got some stuff figured out over here where we know like we can send you back home right now. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I went back home and I stayed home for like a week. And then the day that was considered me coming back, it was right before a game. I was going to come back during the week just to like see her and kind of like say my goodbyes and stuff. But
Mhm.
she was unconscious, so she couldn't talk to me or anything. She was just
She was there.
there. Yeah. So seeing that, and then the morning that I would have had my ticket to leave, that morning she passed.
Ooh.
So I was like, I'm so glad I didn't get on that plane. I was like, because I was like, if I would have heard that by the time I would have landed, I would
Mhm.
have been messed. Um, so yeah, I ended up staying out there for a few more days and stuff, um, just to be just with the family. Um, and yeah, like all that stuff ended up happening, and I was like, this is insane. So then, yeah, after that, I went back to Seattle, got ready for our Texas trip, had another Texas trip for 2 games, went out there, um, and I did not play well. I did not play good, and I was just like, I was like, you know what, I'm just like grateful to just kind of be here with y'all at the end of the day. Um, I was like, because I've been going through some, I've been going through a lot. Like, um, and yeah, after all that happened, I went back home for the funeral. Kind of got to see her for one last time, said my goodbyes and stuff, and um, yeah, I came back up and I was like, all right, all this is kind of done now. Like now I gotta get back to who I am and stuff. But I'm like, all that stuff is still gonna be in the back of my mind because all this stuff just kept hitting me one after another. Something was happening. So, um, yeah, all that happened, and I was like, well, it's all in God's plan now. So, like, everything was all in that plan. So, it's nothing that I could do to reverse the situation, reverse the outcome. I
Mhm.
did all I could do, spend time with them. Did all I could do and whatnot. So, I was like, man, we'll we'll figure it out now. So that's kind of where it was at, and also why I say mental health is the most important thing, and don't worry about a game because that affected me more than me being injured.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's way more important to me than any injury. Yeah, you should have people you should talk to and whatnot, for sure, during those times because you can go down a deep dark hole. I'm not saying that um, any injury is easy to overcome because it's some injuries that it will take years to
Right.
overcome, and it's just like it's heartbreaking. It's definitely heartbreaking, but if you could get back to the game, that's way better than something like losing somebody. Because I'm like, I can't get that. I can't talk to people. Let's be honest. Um, but yeah, kind of just all that happening really, really, really opened my eyes to life. Um, and then I'm like, man, I made many mistakes. Like I'm not perfect by any means, but I have learned. a lot of stuff from things that I've done and things that I've seen that if I can stop someone else from doing that, then that's really what matters. That's why I want to be a coach too. That's a main reason why I do coach is because I know the pressure that kids put on themselves. I was like, shoot, I was just playing basketball like a few months ago. I stopped playing basketball because I got injured. I ended up tearing my groin in Germany, so I
Golly.
so yeah. But honestly, I was fine. I was fine. I was like, you know what? It's just not meant for me. Like I keep on getting injured and stuff. I was just like, it's fine with me. So I came back and yeah, I was just like, nah, I'ma just coach now. So I went back to my old high school, um, talked to our coach and stuff, and he was like, man, get you on the coach staff right now. I'm like, all right. Like I'll get on the coach staff. I'll play with the guys still too. Like I'll go out there, when I can and stuff. But I was like, yeah, like by all means, that's it's definitely helped me get in the right mind space, especially for me, my mental health. What helps me out. Now everybody has something different that they do, but for me, I love seeing other people succeed when, especially if I help them out. Like seeing like the kids that I coach get better and like understand stuff. I'm like, thank God, like this is, and then seeing them do it in the game. I'm like, dude, you see how easy that is? Like, it actually like makes me joyful for it. I'm like, and I'm not even getting any credit for it. I don't care though. I was like, that's the one thing. I'm like, I could care less. Like, if I see somebody do very well, that's all that matters to me. That's it. So that's I would say those are like some of the things that I can honestly say like I absolutely love, absolutely love about it. And then yeah, like yeah, I know I had a whole deep spiel about that, but
It's all good. Look, this is why I say my podcast is raw and real, and I'm, here for
uh,
it. I was like, and I always want to provide a safe space for everybody to feel like, hey, it's okay to be vulnerable. Like I
mm,
would say that vulnerability is essential to bringing joy in life
yes,
because because my thing is, I always want to hear, like, for me, I take athletes' mental health very serious, near and dear to my heart, just like a man's mental health. And I feel like,
mm,
always asking a man how important mental health is, because I always want to hear their input, like, because I always wonder, like, you know, it's okay to be open, and you don't have to feel like, you know, there's always that stigma, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's always that stigma where a man has to be strong all the time. If they show any type of emotions,
mm-hmm,
they're weak.
mm-hmm,
I think to myself, the strongest man alive died for us, and he wept.
yeah,
Jesus wept, even said
yeah,
Jesus wept, and this
yeah,
man was considered the strongest man alive. So, but I mean, but from like, and just wanted to ask this: do you hope to see, just from your perspective, do you hope to see, say, more men or male athletes be open about mental health?
yes. I had I have a friend who actually talks about it. His name is Jordan Williams. Great guy, great guy. It's called the um. Let me look it up really, really quick. Let me look it up really quick, so that way I make sure I say it right because I don't want to say something that it's that's not okay. It is Hope Healing and Wellness Foundation. So that's his foundation. And I had a he had a kind of meeting with all the guys and stuff like just inviting different college athletes and high school, whatever, basketball, football, whatever. Um, and we all came into a circle and we all talked about what we've been through. And I told him, I said, this is like one of the greatest things you could ever do. One, because a lot of people don't get to voice their opinions or the stuff they've been through in their lives, especially transitioning from a when you're in high school, you're still getting taken care of. So
Mm-hmm.
going from being a kid to being a man, it's different, and people don't understand it until they're in the situation. And that is the biggest thing that I could probably say that I was a part of this year, as far as being there and be able to hear people talk about what they're going through, or be able to see like somebody's story impact somebody's vision on different things, or like hearing somebody's story and be like, dang, I'm being quiet right now, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna talk now, just because what he said, like I have to talk now, like I feel like I have something to say. And I feel like that's another thing, a lot of us as men have too much pride, and we still, a lot of men, even though they say like I don't care what they think and stuff, no, you care what people think. End of the day, everybody cares what somebody thinks, even though it might not be a lot of people close to you, you're going to care about what they think about you. And I feel like people just have to, well, men, as men, we have to understand that, but in order for us to evolve and move on from stuff, we have to confront it. We have to be open about what's going on, because you can't get help if you're not open about anything. That's why suicide rates for men is so high,
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like they don't have anybody to talk to, but that's not true. They just don't think they have anybody to talk to because they've never had that person to like really like sit there and listen to them. But it's something that everybody goes through. Everybody goes through. Um, and for me, that's one thing. I went to therapy. I can openly, honestly say that. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, I went to therapy," and that was like one of the best things that I could honestly did during my time when I was in college, because I had to go twice. I had to go for my injuries. I had to go because I had to talk to some of my coaches about some things that was going on with me. Um, and I went when my grandparents passed. So I went those 2 times. Um, and it wasn't like I went to therapy twice. Like, no, I went multiple times. Just during those time frames, I went multiple times of it happening. And you being able to talk to somebody without them like judging you is what we need more people to be like, less judgmental about things. Um, but kind of in the society, that's kind of what it is. You just got to find the right people that actually really truly care about you and love you at the end of the day. Because, um, not saying, some people that love you still will judge you. I'm like, shoot, there's parents out there that judge their kids off of certain things they do, but it's like they're like, I'm your dad or I'm your mom. Like, I'm not about to like, oh, you did it. But they're like, whatever, like, you did it. All right, you did it. It was probably stupid that you did this, or this was stupid, or I don't know why you did this, but they're like, you did it. Let's move on. Like, let's move on. We can talk about it and stuff, and we can like see where you're at and whatnot. They're like, you need help, let us know. But yeah, at the end of the day, that is one of the biggest things. Like, we have to be more vulnerable. We have to put our pride aside and actually, if we need help, we need to ask for it.
For sure. I'm here for that because I always say when you provide particularly a man, a safe space where he is respected and heard and seen. That is the ultimate sign of respect and appreciation. I am
Mm-hmm.
big on that,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you know, I, you know, it's it's not easy to open up how you feel because just like you said, like some people say, "Oh, I really don't care what they think." Yeah, you do. You really do. Inside you do, but you mask it out. You
Yeah.
mask it like you don't care, but behind closed doors, I'm pretty sure you do, especially if it's somebody that you kind of care about, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
always expected their approval and everything. You
Mm-hmm.
do. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, that is a great point. I was like, I was writing up, I was like literally like visioning, taking notes on my little hands and you know what? This is very true. Just man,
Yeah.
where's my hold up? I don't have a fan anymore to this because I usually had a fan for this, but now because I have a tambourine, shout out to somebody that sent me a tambourine. I can shake this for them facts because they are so true. It's so true. So
Definitely.
yes, my tambourine. Anytime I hear spit facts being dropped and words of wisdom, that is being shooken out because it's so true. It's like it hits deep in your soul.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely does. Definitely does.
so my question for you is: if there was a word or phrase to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
That's a good question. um, I don't want to say unique, but I will say um,
It's a loaded
I,
question,
I,
and
I would say my journey has been uplifting. I would say, in the point of as many times as I got knocked down, I still got up.
mm,
And I know you hear this in like a lot of boxing stuff, but about um, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep going. Who I think Rocky, that was from Rocky, is from yeah. I'm pretty sure that's from Rocky, but yeah, it's about how hard. Well, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about well, how hard you can get hit. Yeah, and keep moving forward. So can you keep getting up after you keep getting hit? If you get let down, can you move on? Can you go to the next thing, or are you gonna just stay in that same spot? So it's a matter of that.
I I felt that too. I will say this won't. I know people probably gonna come after me. I ain't never seen Rocky in a day of my life. Nothing. So I'm pretty. That sounded like it was from a Rocky movie. I'm not saying, but I could. That's probably sounding. I ain't never seen any Rocky movies, so don't come
Yeah,
at me, y'all.
you know what? I think it was a later Rocky movie. I think it was with his son. I think he was talking to his son in one of those movies. His son was older. Yeah, so I think it
You
was a
talking about
later
like
Rocky.
Creed?
No, it wasn't Creed. It wasn't Creed. It wasn't Creed.
Oh,
Yeah, it was still Rocky. It was still
see,
Rocky. Yeah.
y'all don't come at me now. I may be in my at a certain age. I ain't never seen Rocky, y'all. Don't come at me though.
Mhm.
So just I know it's considered a classic, y'all, but there's a lot of movies.
Hey, I haven't seen a lot of movies that people are like what, so I understand.
Exactly. I had to, there are certain movies that some people tell me they ain't never seen. I'm like, look, honestly, you ain't missed nothing.
uh,
You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't missed nothing. So it's
mhm.
okay. But that's that's near there, but it happens though. But I when you said that saying it was like interesting, it all remind me that like you fall down 7 times, you get up 8,
Mhm.
like Dwayne Wade said back in the
Yep.
day. It's like
Uh,
that's what it
yeah.
reminded me of when you said that. I was like, oh, fall down. Oh, well, you get knocked down, but I
Yeah.
don't want to get knocked down, but I'll fall down and then still get back up. But
Mhm. Yep.
it's like, you know what? I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm here for it though. So I always ask my guests this question: says Bonafide means authentic and unique, but for the men, the authenticity. So, oh my God, I said that word right. Bless it. Stumble on it. Oh, bless it. The many times I have to say it, especially practice it. Oh, yay. So, but so what makes Mr. Paris Dawson authentic, and what makes your story stands out?
um, I would say my journey makes it authentic, and the fact when you're around me and you know the work I put in, you truly understand like it's very authentic because I do not have to do what I do. I do not. I sacrifice a lot of stuff for the greater good of other people. Um, whether that be me taking, I'm gonna use basketball for the terms right now. Whether that be me taking less shots, me just being in the game strictly for defense, me yelling at somebody for not passing somebody else the ball, not me, somebody else the ball. I think it's the leadership qualities that I have that you can't teach certain people, especially in a world where everything, a lot of kids are more, a lot of people, not even kids, people are me, 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 me,
Mhm.
when it should be, when it's a team, especially, no, us. Whatever happens, it's on us. I think that's something I have pride in. That's something that I you could tell I'm very authentic about that type of stuff. Like if I care about you, and even if it's like I could get this, but you know what? Or oh, I'm gonna get less sleep because my best friend has this happening right now. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna go out there to go see him to make sure I'm there just to support him. And I'm gonna be there just to support him, and I'll drive all the way back home. Mind you, my best friend lives like 3 hours away. So me drive 3 hours to see him and then drive all the way back home just to make sure I'm there for support or there to help him. Like that's, I feel like things that are authentic that people are like, damn, and like I feel like I do the stuff that kind of goes unnoticed by others,
Mhm.
but the people around are like, dude, like that's real. So that's why I feel like that's what I think is authentic about my story, how I am, and I think that was just in me at the end of the day. I don't even think like my parents like brought that out of me. I think that was just me. Yeah.
Excuse me before I hit the camera because that felt so true. It felt so fucking real because I felt that deep in my. I don't like that. That's so true because I do. Let me tell you why I felt that. When you do things, especially you do it out of the kindness of your heart, when you put kindness and love into what you are doing, best believe all of the good things is gonna come back to you multiplied.
Mm.
And sometimes, like, cause that's dedication right there. If somebody come to see you for 3 hours and you visiting them for 3 hours, they you driving 3 hours, and then you driving back after 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's dedication. Like
Yeah.
that's a real friend right there. That's a real friend. If they come to see you, support you, and you're taking 3 hours to see you, and then coming back another 3 hours after that. Yeah, that's a real friend right there.
Mm.
Like so, man. Shout out to you, sir.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Paris, can you let the folks know how where they can find you and support you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Paricio.Dawson on Instagram. On TikTok, I'm Paricio Dawson. I really don't post nothing. I just repost stuff. But yeah, you find me on there. To coach at Corona Centennial High School. in Corona, California. So if you guys want to come out, games. She was one of the, if not the best public school in the country for basketball, I would say. But yeah, by all means, yeah, reach out to me on there. I'm open to a lot of stuff. So
Y'all heard it from him first. Y'all be sure to follow him on Instagram at Dawson, right?
yep.
Oh my God, I guess, oh my God. I was like, I know I put it. Dawson. Be sure to follow him. And it is basketball season, so be sure to check out his team and support him. Support a real one right here. So be sure to support, So big shout out to everybody that tuned in to Bonafide Podcast, episode 199, featuring Paris Dawson. Big shout out to Paris for coming on the podcast to share your story. You can check out the live replay of Bonafide Podcast, episode 199, featuring Paris Dawson. Thank you guys for tuning in.